for cultural recognition. So beyond the culture, the consent condition monitoring, yeah. So just that as well. Kia ora.
Maru, kei te pai. Are you okay with that amendment to C as the seconder? Okay. So we've had a discussion. Are there any further matters to be discussed on this? No? Well, I now ask the mover of the motion, Councillor Baker. Oh, shoot. No, sorry. I now put the following motion to vote. I don't know whether that's necessary, but that's what says on this piece of paper. To whakahaere tēnei hui. So, all those in favour say aye. Aye. All those against say no. I declare the motion carried. 9.2, Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group, Cultural Recognition Update for September 2025. Is that you, Jennifer?
Kia ora tātou. I've just got a very brief PowerPoint that goes along with the report that... What? Okay. Right, try again. Yeah, I've got a brief PowerPoint presentation that goes along with the report that was in your agenda. There's a couple of little updates because we had an ops group meeting since that report was written. So you were given this information the last time, just a reminder of the funding budget that we're working to. Obviously, should have changed that 24-25 year, but yeah. So that's what we do. It won't complete all the projects that the Waiari group have identified, but it's going to go a long way towards it. So I just wanted to remind you of the recommendations from the last meeting because we've been working on some of those. So B, accept the revised priority for the cultural recognition actions. C, agrees to appoint Toi Takapu to develop the cultural recognition artworks and endorses the Western Bay plan for the Waiari Bridge area improvements. So just update you on what's gone forward on those. Just a reminder of the initiatives and what. So we're working on the Tohu Māori storytelling, the rest area, regeneration programs, education and employment, Māori model, Waiari water supply for iwi, and river access points. So what's happened over the last 3 months? So we've sent a draft contract to Toi Takapu, recreating the first cultural recognition artwork in the vicinity of the Waiari plant. So I believe they are meeting today, so we expect to hear back from them this week or next week, and the contract will go back to the operations group to check over, and then, yeah, I hope when we're all agreed that they will start work on that. Regeneration programs, we just heard at our ops group meeting last week, a member of staff at Western Bay of Plenty District Council has done a desktop study on potential sites for regeneration programs along the stream and has been talking to Bay of Plenty Regional Council staff as well, looking at what environmental plans might be available. So they are coming to our next ops group meeting with the big maps and going to have a look at it and see, because part of the issue is that there are reserves that Western Bay of Plenty District Council has along the stream, but the access to those reserves is through private land. So we're going to be looking at who knows who and if there's landowners that we can talk to about this. We've also been talking to, well, Western Bay have been talking to regional council staff about the possibility of dredging the stream near the bridge to enable safe diving and swimming, because the Waiari members hear a lot from the community that people, the hapu, want to be able to get in the water and access the water. So one of the potential things we've been looking at is that, and it looks like we can do a temporary dredge for the summer. So we're hoping that will go ahead, which will be very, very welcome by the hapu there. And this week there was also a meeting held with mayors and CEOs of TCC in Western Bay and the co-chairs of Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group to discuss Waiari water allocation to marae. And so from there, what's happening next on those actions? We talked about Tuatakapu developing the first artwork. I think I've told you most of this. The consultants meeting with hapu, and they're also going to be carrying out geotech and surveying for the bridge areas. There's also potential to open up access under the bridge before the bridge is built. Obviously it's going to take a while till the bridge is built, but we can do some improvements on access before that. And we've talked about the discussion at the Next Ops group with MAPS around regeneration, and TCC and Western Bay staff are going to preparing reports on marae water use in TCC and Western Bay of Plenty DC, and we will have more to report back on that by the next CAG meeting in December. That's all I wanted to share with you. Very happy to take questions.
Just on the Waiari, is it possible to have a walkway under the bridge from one side of the stream to the other? Because the stream goes that way, and this side to get on the other side onto the main highway, which you got your continuity of your walkway, rather than have a road crossing.
I'm just going to defer to the Western Bay colleagues sitting over there. Can Mikoero or Chris, can you recall that is part of the plans, I think, and is a walkway under the stream?
Morena kia tātou. Through you, Madam Chair. Actually, I have a presentation from the contractors that shows some concept designs that they've done for the bridge area, and it speaks to what Maru's talking about, getting under the bridge, so connecting the side of the road that's not going to be where the bridge is, so that people aren't having to run across the road to get to it. So if you give me a couple of minutes to send it to Anahita, and we can put that up for everyone to have a look at.
Madam Chair, perhaps while we wait, if I can ask, are there any roadblocks or particular barriers that need governance input to achieving these cultural recognition wishes?
Oh, that's a wonderfully loaded question. I wish I'd thought more about that. I think at the moment things are going really well, I would say, from my perspective. Tapuika, Waitaha, Ngāti Whakaai, Makatu, we're all working together, and Western Bay as well, and Regional Council. It feels like everyone's working together to get things moving. So I think that we'll be coming back for more, that'd be more issues further down the track, most definitely.
Thank you.
Patai. While we're on our waiting for the photo or the concept stuff to come up, we had that hui last week, Monday. Just wanting an update on where the actions were around what was asked and agreed to by the mayors. That's my way of saying I don't exactly remember what was asked, but there was an ask.
Yeah, I think the next step was a report back to explain exactly what the usage, which marae use or take water, how much it is, how much they're paying, if any, and those details. Because in that meeting we just didn't have those answers, so it was hard to make a decision from there on. But that information exists. It wasn't in the room at the time, so it's going to come back. I'm looking at Peter here, but I think that's about where we were.
Yeah. So I was given 2 tasks out of that meeting the other day. One was to report back on our policy around remissions for water supply to marae, and the other one was around water use on the marae, and to understand that better. So we're preparing a study to do that work across the marae and Tauranga City, to be able to come back to the committee and talk about water use in a bit more detail, because it is used differently on different marae. The remissions at the moment for water supply, we do not remit water for marae, but we do remit wastewater charges. So within Tauranga City, we bill a full amount for water supply, but when it comes to wastewater, for the marae that are connected to our wastewater network, they get a 2/3 remission, so a 66.66% reduction in the wastewater rate. So that's the current situation in Tauranga City as far as water emissions go. That was one of the questions posed to us.
Yeah, I think it's part of the issue. It's different in Tauranga City and Western Bay, so we're just trying to get the information about who does what and why and move forward from there.
Indeed, yes.
I was just going to ask, do we... cool, that's great. When a question that I will have, so just to help you guys prep in advance for the report, is to just define the line between... okay, this is where my thinking's at the moment. The idea of doing all marae sounds like a lot, but if we can start... let's look at the options with just Waitaha Tapuika as well as, so separate those numbers out quite distinctly so we can deal with it like that rather than a whole number. I think will be really help with the future discussion. But also, do you have a time frame as to when we will receive this report? And will that report, considering Mahe was involved and others, will that be escalated or will that come back here?
I expect it'll come here first. Pardon? Yeah, it'll be this year. Yeah.
Kia ora. In terms of marae, and this may, apologies if this is already covered, but I feel it'll be useful to define what is on a marae, because I know here in Tauranga Moana, I can't speak for all of the other marae, there's quite a bit more than the whare nui and the whare kai, and whether they're actually separately metered, but the kohanga reo and other areas will be on there, and just making sure we're consistent. Because I suppose I don't know whether they're separate at whare but the kohanga is very much attached to the marae. But if you up the road, the kohanga is separate. If I was the kohanga, I'd be saying what's good for all is good for one. One is good for all. So I think it'd be useful just to, and apologies if I'm going over old ground, and we've done that, but I think for consistency, because I was in that meeting last Monday, and I said, what's the situation? I think that, and then what's acceptable and doable is another question. But until we know statuses, then decisions can be made. But that's already. Excuse me, because I'm so late to this.
Wally, from a tangata whenua perspective, and probably because I was the instigator of that meeting, so for tangata whenua was, and you will all recall, we were asking for a report of the water to be run for the marae in the sub-region. the reason for that was because we were wanting to quantify whether 1% of the total water take was enough for our marae for the duration of the consent. Hence why, when we had the meeting, I floated the number of 5%. So, not picking up on what Papa Maru was talking about earlier about water banking, we don't intend to do that. However, we do want to ensure that our people, and it's all our people, receive benefits through this water project, through the Waiari joint water take. So for me, and excuse my ignorance, so I just thought our staff would go to the rating team and they'd be able to pull the report together, and then we could have a discussion around whether 1% is way too much or 5% is not enough. So, because we're talking till 2044, until the joint water take consent is to be renewed. So, given that, Wally, I really look forward to the report in December on behalf of the people, because it's kind of like our way of saying that we accept tangata whenua, or iwi and hapu, as true partners in this whole project. So, yeah, that's just clarification from where I was sitting that day. Further questions? Yes, Maru.
Yeah, I was wondering, is there any concessions for essential social services to a community? Because the role of the marae is to bid farewell to the dead and welcome the living, and actually talk politics on the marae. So it's highly important for your local community. Are there concessions for those organisations or groupings for the provisions of essential social services?
And the short answer is yes, they're quite broad-ranging, and that's why we want to understand the whole gamut, if you like, or the whole range of what those concessions may look like. And Councillor Rolleston raised a very good point about the water use on marae, and that's what we're trying to understand, because some of them are just very small local networks and others are more broader reaching, and some have commercial activities. So we don't have any policy work around the way any future remissions may look like. So we need to understand what that water use, how it's used, what it's used for, and the volumes. So we have a rough idea of the total volumes that are connected at the moment, and that's about it. So it's very, very coarse and high level, and we just need to dive a bit deeper into that information before we can make any sound policy decisions or recommendations to this committee.
Okay. I'm going to can I call for a mover and a seconder, please? The recommendation is that the Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group receives the report. Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group. Oh, no, I can't do that. Sorry. Brother, you need to speak to us. Sorry, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we took that effort to get the email through and put it up on the screen, so maybe we should just quickly have a look at it. This is some of the concept ideas that have been drafted up following a number of kōrero with the tangata whenua reps of the WCAG and the people we've engaged to do the mahi. And if you look at the picture that's on the far right, the truck is going towards Waitangi from Te Puke, so that's the side of the road bridge that the footbridge will be on. One of the issues that came up from the outset was making sure that whatever was put there made a safe path for whānau who are living on the other side of the bridge to get into town. So that footbridge connects into the existing trail that goes into town and also down along the Waiari. But most of the whānau in the Waitangi side of the bridge live on the other side of the road to where the footbridge is currently shown. So to the point that Matua Maru raised, the work that is also being done is on the other side of the bridge. So if we look at the left picture, underneath the truck there is being cleared out and made good to connect to the footbridge, so that whānau can come down from Waitangi under the bridge and then come up onto the footbridge and get into town. There's also been kōrero around how you can incorporate cultural design elements into the footbridge, and also kōrero around the reality that our whānau will use that bridge probably to jump off and things like that, which raises issues for councils in terms of health and safety, and not making it something that you deliberately design for doing that, but make sure that if it does happen, that it's as safe as it can be. And as was mentioned by Jennifer, there's some work being done with adjacent landowners around the geotech work that needs to happen, so that we can pull that work off of away from the road and not have to do any traffic management. So that project is heading along in leaps and bounds, and tangata whenua are right at the side of the contractors doing that mahi.
Are there any further questions? Are you going to bring up?
Chris, can you remind me, what's the time frame for that?
Tangata whenua time frames have been, we want to be recreating in the water with this work done by summer. I think we would be looking at next summer at the earliest. James.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions for staff? No? I have one. So these operations meetings, what's the process to ensure that tangata whenua get paid to attend these meetings? Because for the last 12 months, they've been meeting with staff and they're not remunerated. So what goes on there, Jen?
Not necessarily sure I'm the best person to answer this, but yeah, we've been talking about it, and I'm going to do some work on attendance, the number of meetings, and work out what the value of that was, and yeah, we'll be talking further with management about it.
Any further questions? No. All right, here we go. That the Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group receives the report, Waiari Kaitiaki Advisory Group Cultural Recognition Update for September 2025. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Mayor Junior and Manupene.
Aye.
Kia ora. All those in favour say aye. All those against say no. I declare the motion carried. Hey, right. Thanks, Jen. Are there any discussion of late matters? No? Would you like to mahi to us? No. Just before I close the meeting with karakia, I'd like to mahi to yourself, James, Mayor Denia, and to John Scrimmager, Councillor Scrimmager, for your dedication to the Waiari Kaitiaki Advice Group on behalf of Western Bay. And with the upcoming local elections, I wish you well. And hopefully we see you back, right? Same. Thank you. Good luck with that, John. There being no further business, Councillor Hautapu, Baker, ka tā koe te whakakapi a tātou hui. Pai ana.
Hawaii, mauri ora kia tātou. Ka tāre watunga ki te kōrero ki te rangi, ko ia tēnei te whakawātea ki nei tūturu whakamaua kia tīna haumie huie tai ki.
Tai ki e.
Kia ora, Uncle.
Kia ora.
Thank you, everybody.